Namaste. So we are pivoting from the knowledge-based process of Vedanta to the experience-based process of Qigong. That doesn't mean that we have lost faith in the Vedas. That doesn't mean that the Vedic process doesn't work. Because it worked with me, it worked with many others. What it means is that you are not qualified. You cannot understand. You have not followed the instructions because of a lack of background, lack of comprehension, lack of basic intelligence, or whatever. Somehow or other, it's not working. It worked for me. And it worked for, a couple of my friends and acquaintances, but not for the group as a whole, not for the channel audience as a whole. So it's not practical. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine if you follow the process. But because people don't follow the process, they don't get the result, and then they say it doesn't work. But that's not the fault of the Vedas. That's your fault. You don't follow the instructions. You don't get the background that you need. You don't do the practices. And then you complain, oh, it doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work because you're not working it. You're not doing it. Huh? So the clue came in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad that to chant the Udgita properly with potency and defeat the demoniac tendency of the senses, only the vital force in the mouth was successful. All the other senses failed. And they failed because of selfish desire. And the same is true of you. You cannot do the Vedic process successfully because you're not willing to set aside your personal desires and just serve God purely. That's not the fault of the Vedas. You have to understand, we, from the beginning, if you read our catalog, our video catalog, from the beginning, we designed this channel as a postgraduate level course. Postgraduate level means you do your own research. You dig into the scriptures. If you have questions, you should ask questions. And innumerable times over the course of the last 12 years, I deliberately left these questions open. Obscure references and deep truths and similes and metaphors in the Vedas that actually require illumination, interpretation. But did anybody ask questions? No. That's not a postgraduate level student. So it appears that the only people, or the vast majority of people available for this work, are not on that level. So we have to change the level. From XYZ, we have to go to ABC. ABC means sit down, breathe, watch the breath. Anapanasati. Watch the breath while doing yoga asanas. Watch the breath while walking, while doing routine work. Watch the breath in all times and circumstances. And let it take you into meditation. And Qigong is simply a method of watching the breath while the body is put into aerobic stress, by certain exercises. And of course, the principles are all the same. Retain the Jing. Don't engage in ejaculatory sex. Keep the energy. Let it build. Store it in the appropriate places in the body. And then direct it towards meditation. This is exactly what I was taught by Mrs. Yu back in 1974. And I've been practicing this ever since. And maybe you don't have that background. Well, we're going to give it to you now. So we're dropping the philosophical, intellectual, and symbolic, metaphorical approach to enlightenment. And we're taking up the direct, bodily-based, personal approach to enlightenment within your own body, within your own self. And that's because the other one didn't work. I mean, it worked for those who were qualified, but not for the vast majority. So that's why we're changing the presentation. We're not changing the truth behind it. Because the truth is the truth, no matter how you approach it. Whether through Qigong or yoga or philosophy or meditation or whatever. Through any of the four major yogas, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, or jnana yoga, the truth is always the same. The question is finding a method that works in today's world, in today's environment. So I'm not going to waste any more time, pounding the Bible or pounding the Upanishads. I'm not a fundamentalist. I'm a fundamentalist. I like to enjoy myself. I don't like to wrestle with people who are unqualified and then blame the scriptures or blame the presentation. There's nothing wrong with them. What's wrong is that you're misapplying them. That's all. So we're going back to ABC, we're going back to square one, going back to the beginning, kindergarten. Watch the breath. And then watch the breath some more. And finally, watch the breath. Because watching the breath will make you aware of the vital force, the prana. And the prana is the vehicle that takes you to the next body. The prana is immortal. The prana is a part of God. It executes the content of the law of karma, which is carried in the mind in the form of memories. It's also simple and clear, to me anyway. So if you simply watch this vital force, this prana, after some time you will identify with it. And this identification with the primal vital force will take you to enlightenment. That's what the Upanishads say. So, okay, how do we do that? Qigong. That's all. That's all there is to it. You don't need to read anything into it. I haven't lost faith in the Vedas. Or they're not wrong. They're simply unsuitable for the present day and the social situation in Kali Yuga, because there's no proper education. We made a series on how to educate yourself, but nobody watches it. It's got less than 200 views. So what am I supposed to do? If I can't get you to take the medicine, I have to come up with a better tasting medicine. Okay, so we're going to pivot to Qigong. That's it. There's no hidden meanings. There's no inference. It's nothing more than that. And so don't write me these long diatribes with, your whole life story. This is not going to help you. I'm just going to say, too many questions, and refer you to the historical video series catalog, which is linked in the video description. And it's all because nobody could study and understand the 4x4 matrix and the 7x7 matrix. So, all right. If that's the way it's going to be, then we're going to go back to kindergarten, ABC, and start from the beginning.